Welcome to TNT Sports Talk. Today is Tuesday, July 17th. As always, we are presented by D's Home Cuts. I'm your host, Travis Karcheski, joined by my other host, Truman Karcheski.
How's it going, guys?
And we're welcomed back in studio today by our cousin, Spencer Aukerman.
Thanks for having me.
He came back in, wanted to get a little bit of a redo, had a little bit of an awkward time on the last show, but we're going to get him back in here and see how he does. So we're going to start with baseball. Not a lot going on right now in sports, but we did have the home run derby last night. We're on the All-Star break. It was a pretty boring derby. I mean, not a lot of big names except for Bryce Harper, who ended up winning. It was kind of exciting towards the end. You know, Bryce Harper hit about 9 straight home runs to beat Schwarber in the what is it? Schwarber in the finals. So that was pretty cool. But other than that, I mean, it wasn't that exciting. They need to have bigger names in it, I think, for it to get, more buzz, I think, now.
I think Bryce Harper, towards the end when he had those 9 straight or whatever it was, to beat Schwarber, I thought that was really cool. I thought that was one of the better moments I've seen out of the Derby in the past few years. It was just shot for shot. He was just knocking out of the park. And then when he did his bat flip at the end and his teammates gave him a trophy and he celebrated with his dad in Bryce Harper fashion, I thought that was pretty cool. But up to that, it was pretty boring. Like you said, there wasn't that many big names, and it ended up being Schwarber and Harper, which I'm sure a lot of people picked. But towards the end, I did think it was cool, and I thought it was just a classic home run derby.
Yeah, I thought it was cool to see Harper win it in front of the home crowd. Kind of expected that going in, but I also thought it was cool. Rice Hoskins, not really a big name. He kind of put up a lot of homers, advanced to the second round. Thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, we had the first matchup. Number 1 seed got taken down by the 8th seed.
Yeah, it's all right. I don't think we're more of a winning team. We don't really need the home
run derby. 5 straight versus the Pirates going into the day.
We can put up the Indians and Brewers record together, and we can
put up first, or we can put up standings too. So we do have the All-Star break right now. We get the All-Star game tonight. Probably the biggest story around baseball and maybe even sports right now is Manny Machado. Probably, I'd say top 5, top 10 player in the game today. Do you guys agree with that?
I agree,
yeah.
He's looking like he's going to get traded. I know for a fact that they're going to let him play tonight under the Orioles, logo, which it's kind of a good thing to do. You don't want him to get traded, today, and then he has to go out there and wear the Orioles logo. But they're going to wait for him to finish up the All-Star game. And I think it's pretty evident now that he is going to go to the Dodgers out in L.A., which is huge for them. They're in first place right now. They're at 53 and 43 at the deadline. Only half game up in first. That division is close, though. I think the only really team that's out of it in that division is the Padres. But this is a good name, Manny Machado, to stick in that lineup, who's really going to help them, dominate and kind of take over that division and hopefully get to the playoffs again.
Yeah, I mean, it's between really the Dodgers and Phillies, it looks like. There are some reports of some experts saying that he's going to be a Philly Wednesday morning. And then it kind of came out this morning, I think it was John Heyman or whatever that guy's name is. He kind of said, no, it's the Dodgers he's going to be on Wednesday morning. And it's kind of went back and forth, but it's looking more like the Dodgers right now. I think actually Manny Machado said in an interview today he's seen the rumors and he thinks it is the Dodgers one that is correct. But he's excited to play tonight, and it's a difference, but sometimes change can be good. And I think that's what he said. But so I think it's going to be the Dodgers, like you said. But I think the Diamondbacks, the Brewers, and the Phillies, I think they're all still trying to make offers to go and get him. But it looks like he's going to be a Dodger come Wednesday morning.
Yeah, I think the Dodgers would be a good fit for him because he's only got 1 year on his contract. Right?
Yeah, he's a rental.
Right, and Seager's out for the year in L.A. What do you have, Tommy John?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so, I mean, if they're just kind of using him as a 1-year rental, it'd be a good fit to try and put a piece together to win a World Series.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how, it's kind of out in the open. It's pretty much clear that he's not going to be an Oriole after the All-Star break, and it's pretty clear that the Orioles that, that's how it's going to go. But we'll see what happens there. We're going to move now to football. Stick with our 32 teams and 32 shows. We screwed up last week. We did the Broncos. Truman did the Broncos on one show, and I did the Broncos on the next show. So we do have to kind of move a little bit quicker. So we're going to do 2 teams today. But we're going to stick in the NFC North, sticking with our Green Bay Packers. I'll let Truman kick it off. 7-9 last year. but they have had a pretty, I think, remarkable offseason so far.
Yeah, so they added, Jimmy Graham, which I loved. Everyone kind of loved that. They added, come the draft, they added, Jari Alexander, Josh Jackson, which pretty much shored up that secondary. They lost Jordy Nelson, which I love Jordy Nelson dearly, but I don't think it's as big a loss as some people made it out to be. So I think that receiving corps got better, in my opinion. They got younger, they got faster, and they got more speed. So I was very kind of pleased with what they did at that position. And then the big elephant in the room is Aaron Rodgers. He's back. He's got a healthy collarbone. It's like I said, it's Aaron Rodgers. He's the best quarterback of all time. And if he can stay healthy, the Packers are going to be competing for a world championship. And I think obviously he will stay healthy this year. And I think he's going to be kind of on a comeback tour. And I think he's going to stick it to the NFC North and the rest of the teams in the league. But I really like the way this offense looks. I like Devontae Adams on the outside. I think he's one of the best receivers in the league. I think Jimmy Graham, in the right system, is one of the better tight ends in the league. You can use his size in the red zone and everything. Complements the Packers well. And then I will still like Randall Cobb in the slot, even though he's had some off years. And I really like an underrated position for the Packers, I think, right now is the running back position. You've got Jamal Williams, you've got Aaron Jones, two young guys who really performed very well last season. Aaron Jones, I believe he's going to be suspended for 2 games, and Jamal Williams will take the starting role there. But both of them, they looked really promising last season. I really want to see if they can take the next step in their second season. But another running back there is Ty Montgomery. I think he's a key to the Packers offense, and I think Travis would probably agree with me. He's, I think, when healthy, one of the more athletic players in the game, one of the more speedy players in the game, and the Packers can use him out of the backfield as, receiver, slot receiver, and then they can run the ball with him. So I think that's another key. I love the offensive line. And then as far as defense goes, I really like the young secondary. I like the addition they brought in Tramon Williams to kind of mentor everyone. I actually do like the defensive line a lot. I think it's one of the better defensive lines in the league. There's some glaring holes at linebacker, but ultimately, under new defense coordinator Mike Pettin, I like the way the Packers are going.
Yeah, I think they've had, one of the quietest, but I think the best off seasons out of any team, and that's not just being biased. They had a lot of talent on the defensive and offensive side of the ball. And adding Mike Pettin is huge. He was probably the best defensive coordinator before he went to the Browns. And, he got stuck there with a pretty bad situation in Cleveland with Johnny Manziel. I think Spencer can agree. It wasn't Pettin's fault. He really shouldn't have been fired. They should have kept him. But he took a year off from coaching. He's going to come into this, shore up that defense, shore up that secondary. And I think this team, when healthy with Aaron Rodgers, I don't think they get enough credit. I can see this as being probably the best team in the NFL next year. That's probably biased. I had the record prediction as 15-1, which is crazy. I realize that, but they added Joe Philbin. They brought him back. He was huge in that year. They did go 15-1. He was a big part of that. And if these receivers can step up, I think it's easily 14-2, 15-1.
Well, I don't pick them to lose. I will not think that the Packers will lose in any game. I believe they can beat any team in the league. So I will go 16-0 just for the kicks of I don't think they can lose to any team, and I've never picked them to lose a game. So for this one, I think the Packers will go 16-0.
You guys know a lot more about the Packers than I do, but I do think Aaron Rodgers is probably the most talented quarterback in the NFL. And adding Jimmy Graham and also Devontae Adams, probably one of the top receivers in the NFL right now, it's going to be a huge piece. So I'm going to say 12-4, 13-3.
Okay, I'll give it
respectable.
Yeah, it's respect. We're gonna go to the Lions now. They went 9-7 last year, finished second place in the NFC North, which won't happen again with Aaron Rodgers. But they've kind of had a pretty, I'd say, mediocre offseason. They added LeGarrette Blount, who is a good running back. It's gonna help out that running back position. It's been pretty shaky over the last couple of years. They added Luke Wilson to replace Eric Ebron, who was kind of a bust. But then they lost Travis Swanson, who was the kind of anchor on that offensive line. But they replaced him with Frank Ragnow out of Arkansas. They drafted him in the first round. They drafted Kerryon Johnson, a really good running back out of Auburn. And this team has talent. Matt Stafford is top 15 quarterback in the league. They got Darius Slay, who's a pretty good corner. Iggy Ansah, one of the best young pass rushers. Ziggy, whatever, in the NFL. He's going to play under the franchise tag this year. We're going to get back into that a little bit later. Golden Tate's a pretty underrated wide receiver. And then, Taylor Decker on the offensive line. He's young, but he's a really good left tackle. This team is just, they got Patricia now. This team is pretty mediocre, though. I don't think he's going to help out that offense much. I think they go 8-8. Finish a little bit worse than what they did last year. But we'll see what happens. 8-8 for me.
Yeah, I like the weapons the Lions have. I like Golden. Well, I mean, I don't like him, but as far as talent goes, I like Golden Tate. I like Marvin Jones. I think it's a really underrated receiving core. And maybe you can tell me who that rookie was that played good for them last season from a small college.
Galladay.
Yeah, Galladay. Yeah, I think he's going to take another step this season. But as far as the running back position goes, it's they have had a gap and glaring need there since Barry Sanders, and I mean that. I really do. I mean, they haven't had a running game since Barry Sanders. And I think that's...
It's always a mishmash.
Yeah.
Draft picks.
Yeah, and I don't think LeGarrette Blount's going to help that. I think LeGarrette Blount in this stage in his career is just sort of a short yardage guy. You punch him in on 3rd and 1, 3rd and short, and he'll go get you the first down. But he's not the type of guy you want, being your number one guy. I don't even know who they still got Abdullah.
I think so, but they added Kerryon Johnson, who I really like coming out of Auburn. I think a mix of Kerryon Johnson and LeGarrette Blount, and then you throw Theo Riddick, who, besides Chris Thompson, is probably one of the best receiving running backs in the league. He's really deadly out of the backfield. So this running back core is not terrible. It's probably one of the better ones they've had in the last couple of years. But that is the key to their offense. If they can take pressure off of Matt Stafford through their running backs.
Yeah, like you said, they need to take pressure off of him. His arm, I can't hit. It's just been their entire offense. It's been their entire team for many, many years since he's been there. And they got to start taking the pressure off him. It's going to start wearing on him, and teams just know when you're playing the Lions, don't put that much in the box, send it back, and, defend Matt Stafford is really what it is. I like Matt Patricia. I think he's going to be a good head coach. But I do think they're going to take a step back this year, but they're going to improve for the future. I think they're going to be 7-9.
Yeah, I can see Patricia not struggling, doing decent in his first year, but slowly, when he gets his guys in there, doing better. So, like I said, 8-8, 7-8, 7-9.
I agree with Truman that they have an underrated receiving core. Matt Stafford's a pretty good quarterback, so I say 8-8 or 9-7.
Okay. And then we're going to move to keeping in football. We had the deadline yesterday for franchise tag guys to sign long-term deals. Biggest story, Le'Veon Bell. He didn't sign a long-term deal. I guess they were offering him around $14 million a year for about 4 years. He didn't sign, so he's going to play under a $14.5 million franchise tag. But I guess, reports are coming out, he is going to hold out. And if I'm a Steelers fan, I am terrified right now. Because Le'Veon Bell is, if not one of the best running backs in the league. And if he holds out, that's going to hurt a lot. I don't know who their backup is. James Conner, the rookie. Well, he's not rookie, second-year player out of Pittsburgh. But reports are Adam Scheffler said that talks are that he could.
Not Scheffler.
Whatever. They said he could hold out the half a season, half of the entire season, which is pretty scary if I'm a Steelers fan. Especially because, Le'Veon Bell holds that offense a little bit together. And if the Steelers don't win, I think, a Super Bowl with the core of Antonio Brown, Ben Roethlisberger, and Le'Veon Bell, that's going to be, a shame. That's just a lot of talent. 3 top 10 position group guys, and to just, throw that away is going to hurt a lot. And it's just, you're going to look back on that as being one of the biggest, screw-ups in NFL history. I guess people are saying, Le'Veon Bell's kind of selfish. That's $14 million a year is a lot for a running back. But does he deserve to make more than that? I think so. I think he's worth it. But, obviously you're not going to pay, $200 million for the guy. There is a price limit on him. But he is a talent, and I think you got to pay him what he wants.
I think that's to a degree. I think the Steelers, looking at the way the NFL is shaped, the quarterbacks obviously get the most money, and they get a shit ton of money. The Steelers, now Ben Roethlisberger, great quarterback. He's only going to play for about, we agree, 2 to 3 more seasons, if that. You don't have to give him a $1 trillion contract like you do in other situations. So until you have to pay a quarterback, which might not be for a while, why don't you make Le'Veon Bell that quarterback, that leader that gets the most money on your team? But in other ways, I see that Le'Veon Bell's just being selfish, as to where the Steelers were already offering him a boatload of cash, and he turns it down because he wants more. I don't understand why players do that, but if he thinks that once he hits the open market, a team will go out there and give him.
I think a team will.
A team definitely will, and I don't know. At this point, I think Dom, he said that he's gonna be 28 next year, and once running backs get to that age of 30, it's notably statistically a decline on their career. And do you really want to pay a guy who's about to be 28, about to be 30 in a couple of years, a boatload of money? I don't know. But at the same time, I see where Le'Veon Bell's coming from and saying that the Steelers are going to have this money because they don't have to pay a quarterback. But at the same time, he's being selfish, and I think if he really wants to be a Steeler, then he needs to accept the money.
Yeah, and like if he holds out for half a season, I mean that's a lot. I would just play under the franchise tag if I were him. Obviously, you run the risk of injuries, but he's making a lot of money this year, $14.5 million. But he should just play, suck it up, play the season out, and see what you can get, in free agency next year. He'll be probably the best free agent available next year, and he'll get a lot of money. Somebody will pay, what he wants for, his skills. But a couple other guys, four guys are franchise tagged that still haven't signed yet. Like I said, Le'Veon Bell, DeMarcus Lawrence, sack leader from last year. All three guys, DeMarcus Lawrence, LaMarcus Joyner, and then Ansah from the Lions. All three said they will play under the franchise tag this year. But DeMarcus Lawrence says he wants a deal and he wants it like now. So I don't know if he'll hold out. I don't think he will. He's a guy who it's interesting because he was a sack leader last year, but that was his best year ever. And hopefully it's not an outlier for the Cowboys, but we'll see what happens. But
DeMarcus Lawrence is another one though. I think he's one of those players, like you said, the Cowboys want to see if he puts up another repeat performance of last year, then they're going to pay him. But
a lot.
Yeah, a lot, like a top pass rusher in the game. But they don't want to make him, one of the highest paid players, and then he goes and puts up bad numbers, and it turns out that one season was just kind of lucky and a fluke. But I think they will pay him eventually because I think he will be a great player in this league. But I think the Cowboys, and they're smart to do this, are just going to kind of wait and see if he can do it again.
Which a franchise tag, I mean, I get it. You don't want to play, year to year like Kirk Cousins, but you make a lot of money on the franchise tag.
Especially as a pass rusher.
Kirk Cousins, he played, 2 seasons on the franchise tag, and he made close to $50 million, which is insane.
People don't know the franchise tag's the average of the position that you play.
Yeah.
So when it's a quarterback, like you said, Kirk Cousins, you take the average of what quarterbacks make, it's a very high number, and you would be glad to make that. Any of us would take that in a heartbeat. When it comes to Le'Veon Bell taking the franchise tag, it's not that much because running backs don't get paid that much. So that's, why he's barking. But as DeMarcus Lawrence, as a pass rushers get paid a lot. So the average of that position is a lot. So I'm sure he's not too pissed at making the average of that position.
No, but like I said, you want this job security. That's why guys don't like playing under the franchise tag. But it does give you kind of a prove it type of deal. You go out there and play under the franchise tag and put up huge numbers, you're going to get a huge deal in free agency the next year. But we're going to move now to basketball. We'll still watch that football, and that Le'Veon Bell's situation is going to be going on for the rest of the season, I think. That's going to be something to watch for. And it could blow up and just, like I said, if the Steelers don't win with that core, it's going to be one of the biggest shames in, sports history. But we're going to move now to basketball. But before that, I want to remind you that our show is brought to you by D's Home Cuts. D's is the best place around Northeast Ohio for a great haircut at a low price. For only $7, D's will provide you with a modern haircut and styling. Truman and I have been getting our haircut at D's for the last couple months, and we have never looked or felt better. Every time you go into the shop, you're going to get a professional cut, and they get better every single time because Dom is always upgrading his equipment so he can give you the best haircut possible. You can find D's Home Cuts on Twitter or Instagram at Dom's Home Cuts. DM him for an appointment or set it up on his link in his bio. It's really easy. D's Home Cuts, professional haircuts at a low price. So basketball, we're wrapping up Summer League. The championship is... When is the championship?
I don't know.
Tonight.
Is it tonight?
Yeah.
Tonight, Blazers versus the Lakers. Summer League's kind of interesting. You get to see guys you don't really, watch. A lot of G League players, rookies, second-year guys like Josh Hart, who played last night against the Cavs, had 37 points, and he just looks like a man amongst boys. He's one of the best.
I think he's too good to be in summer league.
Yeah, it's clear. But I guess if you can, why not let him play? But summer league's kind of interesting because you get a first look at these rookies. I don't think it's the tell-all for how the seasons are going to go. But you look like Kevin Knox right now is absolutely destroying it, or he did destroy it. They're out now. So that's a good sign for Knicks fans. Trae Young's been playing well. Ayton's been playing well. But you don't really get a clear look at these guys until they really step up, on opening night and get to play against, the big dogs like the other All-Stars in the NBA.
Yeah, I think the Lakers. If they win tonight, they'll be back-to-back summer league champions, I believe.
Yeah.
They won last year, right?
I think so.
So that's cool. They've got a really young, talented team. And I think that's part of the reason LeBron went there is because they got a young, talented team. But
Spencer's over here looking pretty sad.
But obviously the Cavs, they made it to the Final Four, I guess you could say. I don't really focus on the summer league. I don't really know much about it, but it is kind of cool to see these rookies put on that their team's jersey for the first time and go out and play. But it just seems to me like it's almost like scrimmages. So I don't really watch it. I know a lot of people don't really watch it, but like you said, it is cool to see the rookies and young players play.
Yeah. So Spencer, you want to say something?
And then I haven't had time to watch much of it, but I got to see part of the Cavs game last night. Which, a lot of Cavs fans will probably say this, but I'm really excited about Colin Sexton, last night. What do you have, like 27?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and he hit a clutch three to send it into overtime, was competing on defense. Looks like he's going to be an excited player to watch.
Yeah, so, and again in basketball, a couple other smaller things. Isaiah Thomas signed with the Magic. That's a good deal for him because I think the Magic... Nuggets. What am I... He signed with the Nuggets. That's a good signing for them. They got a pretty good young core there, and I'm just off today. And hopefully he can regain some of that magic that he had in Boston, because he does have the ability to score. But we'll see what happens there. Do you guys have any thoughts on Isaiah Thomas?
I was just gonna say I think it'll be cool to see him and Jokic could be a cool duo if Isaiah Thomas can revamp his career and get back to the electrifying player he was with the Celtics.
Yeah, I'm kind of and he's a really good scoring guard, and I think he could do that when he was with the Lakers and Cavs, but his defensive ability looked awful, and he can't match up with some of the guards in the league, and I don't know how he's going to be able to do that or just revamp that with the Nuggets. I get kind of a kick out of his tweets because he tweets always hashtag that slow grind in capitals. And I don't really know how slow, his grind's going to be before he gets back to where he was with the Celtics. But the Nuggets are a good place for him. I think the Nuggets are a sleeper team for next year.
That was a 1-year deal.
Yeah,
I believe.
Veterans minimum.
So that's a good deal for him. That's a good deal for him. It was a 1-year deal. But because I think he really needs to prove himself. He needs to get some consistent minutes. Last year was kind of a crazy year for him. He was a complete shock to get traded to the Cavs. He was dealing with that hip injury. Then as soon as he starts to play a little bit with the Cavs, he gets shipped to Los Angeles where he comes off the bench for a little bit. And then next thing you know, he's hurt again. And, that's his season. So I don't think we've seen the last of Isaiah Thomas and his ability to score and his all-star potential. I mean, he was an MVP candidate just 2 years ago. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully he can find the right system in Denver and, regain some of that magic that he lost last year.
And I think having Jokic around him and some other pieces, he could really help, take some pressure off of him, not trying to do too much and get back to the way he was playing in Boston.
And we're still waiting on Carmelo Anthony. That's going to come out here soon, where he's going to end up. What was this? What'd you say?
Nothing.
Wait, why don't you say something?
Continue.
Carmelo Anthony, we're still waiting on to see where he goes. I guess the Thunder are going to buy him out here soon. I think the Rockets, like I said in a couple shows ago, I think he's going to end up with the Rockets, form the next super team. Just another big name going to the West and staying in the West. But we'll see what happens there. There could be some surprise teams that pop up, but again, wherever he goes, I'm going. So
Because you're a front runner, right?
Yeah, you're a bandwagon fan.
Carmelo's my guy. He's one of the best players of
If
all
you go-
time.
here's
what
the
reason do you have to be a Carmelo fan?
I love him. I just always loved him.
For what reason?
You were a North Carolina fan. Why?
Because I got to see the national championship and I was there.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's
And I
Okay.
was like 12.
Here's the thing about Travis. If he goes to the Rockets, Travis will pull for the Rockets because the Rockets are good. But if he does take a lot of money and just go to a crappy team like the Kings you were saying earlier, you will not give a crap.
Yes, I will.
No.
I guarantee you I will.
You will not
He was
give
on the
crap.
Knicks. I rooted for the Knicks when they were really bad.
Did you though? Because
Yeah.
me and Spencer remember you just rooting for the Knicks when they were making
Well,
the playoffs.
what crap-
And then once they stopped, you didn't really talk.
The
about
only
it.
time I can really talk about my teams is when they're good and they're
Don't
bad.
say my teams. It's not your
They're
teams.
my teams, yeah.
How are they your teams?
Because I'm rooting for them.
Yeah, because you're a front runner and you just follow one
When New
player.
York was
You're a
bad, I
bandwagon
mean,
fan.
what am I gonna say? I can't brag when New York and then the Knicks are bad because
You can't
just
brag
shut
at
me
all
up.
because you're not from New York, so you shouldn't be a Knicks fan.
Okay, well, you're not from North Carolina. You should be a North Carolina
I'm not
fan.
a North Carolina fan.
You were for a while.
When I was 12.
Okay, well, Truman's not from Wisconsin.
My father
His
is.
family is.
Carmelo Anthony is my favorite player. He's always been my favorite player. I can root for him because it's a free country, I think. But I guess it's not, according to Spencer and Truman. I guess I can't root for him. Who would you prefer I root for?
Well, no one now.
Yeah,
because
Okay,
you
so
just ruined
I just
fandom.
can't watch
No,
the
you just
NBA
shouldn't
anymore.
put-
Yeah, you shouldn't.
But
You ruined
no,
fandom.
Melo's my guy. I know Brett High knows that. He was throwing around some pretty bad Melo slander a couple days ago. And I wrote a 4-page essay defending Carmelo Anthony and his career, and he responded with a 7-page essay. But like I said, you're not gonna come at me with Carmelo Anthony slander and expect to not get some back.
Okay, then explain to me why he doesn't play defense.
Why doesn't LeBron play defense?
He does.
LeBron does not play defense.
Okay,
Okay,
why did
what
LeBron
about,
take his crappy team to the finals?
What about LeBron's
Because
infamous block?
Russell Westbrook's a king.
Game 7.
One block.
Okay, Carmelo can do that.
I can show you 400 Carmelo Anthony blocks.
Okay, I can show you more double LeBron.
And then
blocks.
I'll show you highlights of where a team scores and LeBron's just walking down the
then
court.
Okay,
I'll
and
show
we
you
could probably
the
double that in
highlights of
Melo.
moments.
Yeah, he's not a defensive player. He's an offensive guy. He's an offensive
he's a
assassin.
three-point shooter. He's chubby now. He's
He's not
athletic.
chubby.
Yes, he is.
I guarantee you
is.
he would kill both of you.
He's
if
so
you
much-
came at him in a fight.
He's
Okay.
so much of a role player now that
He's not a role player.
Yes,
he's
he
a
is.
superstar
He's not a
still.
superstar
Yes,
anymore. No,
he
he's
played.
not.
He was in a bad system in Oklahoma.
How is it a bad
How is that
system?
a bad system? He's Russell Westbrook. and Paul George.
Oladipo, most improved player after he left. James Harden, MVP. Kevin Durant has won 2 finals
Okay,
without
Kevin
him.
Durant was the MVP.
What did-
and,
He didn't win 2 finals with him.
oh yeah, because he didn't have Steph Curry, Klay
James
Thompson.
Harden, a bench player, now one of the top 5 best players in the game today.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
do you
know,
think
but he
James
was-
Harden was a top 5
It's
player when
hard
he was on?
to play with Russell Westbrook because he is. I'll admit he's not a good teammate. He's a ball hog.
Carmelo Anthony isn't a good
Yeah,
teammate
and
either.
Carmelo
How is Carmelo Anthony not a good teammate?
What has he done in his career?
Because who is he
He
had?
goes to teams, ruins teams, and then leaves.
Okay, we're gonna get into this a little bit. Name an Oklahoma, and we're gonna throw out Oklahoma City because Russ is a cancer. He's hard to play
No,
with.
he's
We won't have to
not.
talk.
No, he's
Name
not.
name
MVP.
Carmelo Anthony's best teammate outside of Oklahoma City in his career.
Amari Stoudemire.
Yeah.
Amari Stoudemire was 45 years old when he finally got to play
No,
with
he
him.
wasn't. He was actually really
He was
good
good
when
on
he
the
came
Knicks.
up.
Then Carmelo came. and
He
the
was
team
good
went
on the
downhill.
Knicks, and he made his last All-Star game the year before Carmelo Anthony got there, and he went downhill. His career wasn't as good.
No, he
Carmelo
He
Anthony
went to the Knicks.
Carmelo Anthony's extended the careers of J.R. Smith, Allen Iverson, Jason Kidd, Rasheed Wallace, all of these greats. He's extended it way beyond what they should. J.R. Smith wasn't even in the league.
Jason Kidd won a finals
I'm
after
sa-
he left Melo.
No, he didn't.
When did Jason Kidd go to the Knicks? After he was with the Mavericks?
After he was with the Mavericks. His last year was
Oh,
with the
maybe.
Knicks.
Then how did he extend his career?
Yeah.
He extended it. I mean, he could have been done. J.R. Smith
What do you
was.
mean?
J.R.
So he went
Smith,
to
J.R.
the
Smith
Knicks?
wasn't even in the league when Carmelo Anthony went to the Knicks, and Carmelo Anthony said, "Come play with me." J.R. Smith said, "Yeah, of course, because you're fun to play with, and you're one of my best friends." And he won 6th Man of the Year.
And then he went to Cleveland. And
So
he
okay,
still
besides
extended
Amari,
his
besides
career.
Amari Stoudemire, who's the best teammate Carmelo Anthony's played with?
Why is that a
Well,
question?
yeah, why?
'Cause you
Russell
said-
Westbrook, Paul George.
We're throwing out Oklahoma
Why
City
did we
because
throw
Russell
out-
Westbrook?
throw that out?
Because
Why
Russell
did we-
Westbrook's a cancer.
No, he's not.
Why?
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Yes, he
This
is.
isn't an argument then, because you're
You
throwing out Russell Westbrook and Paul George.
I said Carmelo Anthony's a superstar. Why? And then you said, what has he done? And I said, besides Oklahoma City, where it's hard to play with Russ. That has been proven. Name
How
me
has
a
it been
player.
proven?
Okay, so you're gonna look back on Carmelo's career and say,
name me a player.
Oh,
Name me a player.
He didn't win any finals, but he extended the career of some old people.
Name me a player
Yeah.
that Carmelo Anthony has played with who is another superstar. Name me another superstar that he's
Russell
played with.
Russell
Paul
Westbrook,
George.
Paul George,
Throw out
Amari
Oklahoma City.
Stoudemire.
Amari Stoudemire was not that
Yeah,
good.
We
with
just
the
named
Nets.
3 because we're not throwing out Oklahoma City because there's no reason to throw out.
It's been
Oklahoma City.
proven that Russell Westbrook is a hard teammate to play with. He doesn't make guys better.
Averaging a triple.
Paul George.
He
Paul George.
averaged a triple double.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't mean he makes
How does
teammates
that not
better.
matter? How does that not
Oladipo
matter?
was trash there, and he went to Indiana.
He was also trash with the Magic. He was also trash with any other team he's been with, and he went to Indiana, and he got a good system, and he was a star. It's not like
James
he was
Harden.
just trash in
James
Oklahoma
Harden,
City.
Kevin Durant, Oladipo. 3 guys
What
have
are you
all
saying?
done.
Kevin Durant did bad in Oklahoma
He's won
City?
2 finals without him.
Okay, because he has Steph
one of the
Curry
best
and the
teams of
Golden
all
State,
time.
one
And
of the best
Carmelo
teams of all time.
Anthony has never had anybody besides
Russell
okay,
Westbrook, Paul George.
Okay, those Russell Westbrook, Paul George, Amari Stoudemire, who I don't think is you're giving him way too much credit.
Jeremy Lin.
Was not that good.
Okay, and I think you're just Amari Stoudemire was a star when he went to the Knicks,
Yeah.
and then he faltered off.
He was a star when Carmelo Anthony got there, and he followed up, and he
Carmelo-
fell off.
Because
and
Carmelo
Team
Anthony
ruined the team.
No, he did
Everything
not.
went
He did
down.
not. He made the team better.
Debatable.
Name me a guy other than Amari Stoudemire who was on that team.
Why
who
is
was
this
good.
like your biggest argument? Like,
Because it's annoying how people
Me and
slander
Spencer
him.
are arguing that he hasn't won finals, which is a fact.
right.
Because he hasn't had good teammates.
He just was on.
he was with Paul George and Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook is incredibly difficult to play with.
And then you say, oh, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant won an MVP with Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, and Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant averaged over 26 points a game.
Kevin Durant is one of the best, probably right there with LeBron, is one of the best players in the league.
Okay,
He's a different
and you're
talent.
arguing. So
James Harden was a bench player.
Because he was just starting out his career.
No, he was
He
not.
developed
He was
into a star.
How long did he play there? He played there 3-4 years.
And he developed into a star in Houston.
Yeah, because once you get away from Russell Westbrook, he becomes a star.
Not necessarily because he came off the bench in Oklahoma City.
Yeah. Why did he come off the bench in Oklahoma City?
Tell the coaches.
Oh my, the coaches. Russell Westbrook, it's been proven he's hard to play with.
Russell Westbrook chose for James Harden
He
to come off
doesn't
the
get
bench.
guys to go to there. Guys don't want to play with him.
Paul George just
Paul
denied
George
playing
is an
with
outlier.
LeBron.
He's a complete outlier.
Okay. This is another one. You just want to throw away.
James Harden
Oklahoma
was
City.
with OKC for 3 years.
Exactly. He was there first. Then, year 3 to year 4, he just makes some magical jump, and it's just because
He
he
was
got better.
becoming a great player, and then he left.
Yeah.
I don't get what you mean.
He
was
came
coming
off the bench in Oklahoma City.
and he
didn't get the chances
He became
in
an
Oklahoma City.
MVP when he went to the Rockets. It's been proven time and time again that Russ is not a good player, good teammate.
How?
His whole offense is him.
He
The
averaged
whole
triple
offense.
double.
Yes,
He
because
has a triple-double.
he's a ball hawk. He gets every rebound.
How does
he does
How
all-
does over 10 assists a game
make you a ball hog?
Russell Westbrook is, well, first of all, triple double is one of the most overrated stats in all sports.
How?
It just is.
Explain.
We can get into that another day, but it just is. Okay, we'll take out Russ. We'll take out Paul George. I don't want to keep going with this. And we'll take out Amari because I don't think that's true. Name me a guy he's played
So
with. who's
3 great players you just want to take
better.
out.
Name me a guy.
You just
Name
we
me a
named
guy.
them. We named them.
Name me a guy other than those 3. I want to know, seriously.
Okay, name more than 3 that LeBron's played with, besides Kevin Love, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh.
Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving.
I forgot about Kyrie.
That's 4
Okay,
guys.
4. You have 3 for Carmelo.
Okay, so you're putting Amari Stoudemire
I think why your
on the
biggest
same
argument
level.
for Carmelo Anthony is that he's made other teammates better. Like, you should argue that he's
He's
a
made
winner, which he's
trash.
not.
He's made trash decent.
He's not played with trash.
Yes, he has. In Denver, who did he play with in Denver?
Okay, Denver.
Allen Iverson. But,
Yeah,
yeah,
Allen Iverson when he was
J.R.
like
Smith
60 years
was
old.
really good in Denver.
No, he was
Yes, he
good.
was.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't even in the league though until Carmelo Anthony brought him back from China.
Great. Congrats. He brought a pot.
And now look what's happening. He's trash.
Yeah, Carmelo's trash.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, we got to move on. But this is.
I played
I
the
wrote
two
a
super
4-page essay
okay,
about this.
yeah, you great. You BS a 4-page essay. I can do the
No,
same shit.
no, you can't.
Okay, literally, if you look at it, he got his first opportunity to the season you say you just want to throw out because I don't know why, because it was a bad season.
Because Russ
for him.
is a cancer.
Stop saying that.
I
So he goes
said,
and he
man.
gets his all-stars that he needs to win, and he just is a huge cancer to the locker room and ruins the season for the Thunder.
He didn't ruin the season for the Thunder.
The Thunder would have done better without Carmelo Anthony.
How?
What do you mean how? They would have had Russell Westbrook. They would have Paul George. They wouldn't have to deal with Melo's fat ass.
Okay, why are you disrespecting a guy who's one of the best teammates, one
He's
of the
not
best
one of the
players,
best
in,
teammates.
one of the
He
best
ruins
players in
teams.
NBA history?
He ruins teams. He's not one of the best players.
How
in
does
NBA
he
history.
ruin teams?
The Knicks were good. He went to the Knicks, then they went downhill.
He played.
The Thunder were supposed to be the next super team.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And they
Amari
went
Stoudemire, I guess,
downhill.
is the only guy you're saying he was good. How long was he
We
good?
are saying Russell Westbrook is good.
We're
saying
talking
Paul
about
George
New
is
York
good.
now. Because Spencer said he ruined the Knicks somehow.
I mean, I don't think he ruined the Knicks. I think he didn't do anything accomplish-worthy for the Knicks.
Yeah, because who is he playing
Okay,
with?
but you cannot say that Carmelo is one of the best NBA basketball players of all time.
He is.
Explain.
He's a-
Explain
he's
your
a-
reason.
This is when he argues, he's won 3 gold medals.
He's
Yeah,
won 3 gold
okay.
medals.
Okay,
That's
they
not-
play
MVP candidate.
How many has he won?
What does that matter?
What do you mean?
What does that
matter?
matter? What do you mean? What
It
does
doesn't
that matter?
The one guy gets an MVP every year, so I guess guys who've never won MVPs aren't good players.
No, but
We're
I'm
saying
not
he's a
saying
good player.
He's a good player. He's not one of the greatest NBA players of all time.
He's one of the best, I'd say top 5 pure scorers in NBA history.
Debatable.
All right, well, we got to move on, but, I mean, you guys just don't know what you're talking about. But we're actually going to stay a little bit in Oklahoma City. We're going to stick with our segment of what would have happened. We're going to talk about what would have happened if the Thunder kept Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook. If they would have kept that core together, those 3 guys together, what would have happened? I'll let Truman kick it off.
I think this would have been really interesting. I think the Thunder wouldn't have been as good as people thought they would have been with James Harden and Kevin Durant, because it just seems like James Harden's kind of a ball hog, Russell Westbrook can be kind of a ball hog, and Kevin Durant's one of the best players of all time. There's not enough balls to go around, and I think there's not enough balls to shoot. But I still think, with the pure talent that they would have had, they would have been, they would have definitely won a finals by now. And I think they would still be one of the better teams, the best teams in the league. Now, I don't know how once James Harden becomes a superstar, once Russell Westbrook becomes a superstar, how they would have kept all 3 of those in the years coming. So I don't think they would all be together right now. But a few years down the line from when James Harden left, I think they would have won an NBA Finals and would have been one of the best teams of all time.
I mean, I agree with Truman. I think they could have been a great team, win finals, but also there isn't enough balls to go around when you have James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant on the same court. But I think it could have maybe worked out because Kevin Durant's obviously shown that he doesn't care about being a leader. He just wants to win. So
Jeez, is that kind of a shot?
It's a shot.
So,
You're just taking shots today. Why are you so mad?
so yeah, I think they could have been a great team. Kevin Durant would have stepped down just to win because he doesn't really care about that. But
He didn't care about that. What do you mean he didn't
like
care about
he doesn't care about being like the alpha.
He just wants to win.
He just wants to win.
Okay.
So I agree. I think, the Thunder would have been probably the best. I think they would have been right there with the Warriors if they would have kept it together. And that would have been a good competition. But yeah, I agree. I think they would have won, but it would have been really hard to keep them all together. And, once guys leave, Russell Westbrook, they start to flourish. So you wouldn't have seen, I don't think, James Harden as good as he is now. I don't think you would have seen that. And I don't think, Kevin Durant would be as good without Russ. Would be as good, because he's playing with a cancer like Russell Westbrook.
He won an MVP with Russell Westbrook.
Okay, quickly, I just wanted to say, Russell Westbrook, the deal for Paul George, they traded away Sabonis, Oladipo, and Kanter. All 3 of those guys, their performances went up last year without playing with Russell Westbrook. So we're going to move now.
As talented teams.
What?
Oladipo became a star because he was the only player the Pacers had. And it's Kanter, who's on the Knicks now.
Wait, hold on. What's the argument?
Oladipo became like the go-to guy in Indiana.
What about Sabonis and Kanter?
Okay,
Who's on the Knicks?
Who's
now?
on the Knicks? Yeah.
What do you mean?
Kanter became the only player.
Porzingis?
They went to worse teams. Yeah.
How much did he play?
Over half the year.
Oh my gosh, this is just.
They went to worse teams, so yeah, they got better opportunities.
Pacers were a playoff team last year.
I know because Oladipo developed into a
Oladipo,
superstar.
Miles Turner. They have a lot of big names there, and Oladipo.
Okay, name the big names.
Oladipo.
Wait, I want to hear the big
Wait,
names.
no, I want to
say the big names. I want to hear.
Miles Turner.
He's not a
he's
big
a
name.
superstar.
Miles Turner is a top 50 NBA player.
Top
50.
Yeah.
Listen,
yeah.
wait, hold on. Okay, we
There's
gotta
15
move
on each
on because we got about 20 minutes left. But in Orlando, he was the only guy there, and he was
Yeah,
trash.
and he was the beginning of his career. He was just starting out his career, developing.
obviously
I feel like
you
James Harden.
can't predict what would have happened if he would have stayed there. Would he have had as good a season? No, because Russ is a cancer and he's hard to play with. But Carmelo Anthony playing in the system he's playing in Oklahoma City, that was not the correct system that Carmelo Anthony should play.
Because he's not that good of a player.
2013, he was an MVP candidate. How was
he? Did he win anything? No.
Okay, I'm just saying because he had no teammates. But we're going to move now to question and answers. But before that, I want to remind you that our show is brought to you by A's Lawn Service. Since 2014, A's has been providing professional landscaping services to many homes around Northeast Ohio. By using professional landscaping equipment, A's constantly strives to provide families with professional landscaping at a low and fair price. Are you tired of being dragged around by bigger landscaping companies?
Of course.
Turn to A's and trust me, all your lawn and home needs will be taken care of, and your lawn and your home will never look better. The phone number is 330-241-2392. Again, 330-241-2392. And the email is lawnservice.a's@gmail.com. A's Lawn Service LLC. You grow it, we cut it. So, moving now to question and answer. Obviously, LeBron's still getting acclimated to Los Angeles, but Magic Johnson a couple days ago called LeBron the greatest leader in sports history. I wanted to get Spencer. I don't know what your take is on LeBron now. If you like him still,
I'm a little butthurt, but obviously I respect him.
I mean you're former. You say you're still a fan.
I would say
former LeBron fan. Me and Truman both don't like him, so it'd be a little even out the bias a little bit. Do you think he was one of the greatest leaders in all sports, or the greatest leader in all sports?
Yes, I do.
Of all time?
Of all time.
Of all time, yes.
You think he's the greatest leader of all?
No, I don't think he's the greatest leader, but he's up there.
Okay.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I don't think he's the best.
Boy, you were about to.
I don't think he's the best leader.
I'm not saying he's the
I'm
best leader.
I'm not saying he's the best leader in NBA
but
history.
he's definitely up there.
I'm not saying he's not better than Michael Jordan in terms of leadership.
I don't know.
Listen,
I think Michael Jordan's the best player of all time, and I'll argue that to my grave. But as far as leader goes, Michael Jordan never led. Those 2007 Cavs were atrocious. They went to the finals. Last year's Cavs, they went to the finals.
Yeah,
I don't think Michael Jordan would have led either of those teams to the finals. Now, I think Michael Jordan's the better player. I agree. I'm on the Michael Jordan side. But when it comes to leadership, I think just because LeBron led this past team in 2017 to the finals, I would take LeBron in the leadership category.
But I think that's not leadership. I don't know.
The 2017 we took to the finals. How is that not leadership?
No, I think, like I said, that was insane. I don't think Michael Jordan would have done that either. But in terms of leading off the court, I'd say Michael Jordan's a better off the court leader.
Can you explain that?
Well, look, LeBron talks crap about his teammates all the time. He created that so much tension, unneeded tension in that locker room. Players did not like playing with him.
Okay, because he pushed them.
Players like playing with Michael Jordan.
There's the players that like playing with LeBron. Richard Jefferson has said LeBron.
Okay, well, Richard Jefferson's easy to get along with. But like Rodney Hood,
James.
Kyrie Irving couldn't wait to get out of there.
Yeah, because Kyrie Irving wants to be the alpha and wants to be the.
Because it's hard to play. It's hard to play with LeBron. I don't think it was hard to play with Michael Jordan.
I don't really know how that works. That doesn't really work with leadership because I think LeBron led a group of scrubs to the finals.
I think it's two different types.
Right, and when you're a leader, there's going to be people that hate you and people that love you.
Yeah, but it's hard to play with LeBron. It's not hard to play with Michael Jordan.
It's not hard to play with LeBron. And I get
guys hate playing with him.
Okay, and some guys love playing with him.
Yeah, and I don't think there's
really leader, there's
I don't
think
think it's about what you say 50-50. People hate him. People like people.
No, you can't.
Okay.
No
well, I don't think there was as many players who hated Jordan. But I don't know. I mean, I guess you can't really use stats for this, but I don't know. But I don't think he's the greatest leader of all time.
I don't think he's the greatest leader of all time.
I think he's up there.
Yeah, I think he's up there.
Could be. It's kind of hard to just decide who the exact one greatest leader is, but
yeah, it's not a statistic.
I say he's definitely up there.
Yeah.
So then our last question is, should pro sports get rid of all-star games? I know this is a heated debate because, it sucks. It's cool, I guess, because it's the only thing on, but like Pro Bowl sucks. Nobody really likes watching that. Nobody likes watching, the All-Star game, NBA or MLB. But
I think okay, in the NFL, yeah, it sucks. But in basketball and baseball, I love the dunk contest. I love the home run derby.
Yeah, that's not All-Star game.
It's part of the All-Star weekend. It's part of the All-Star
We're talking All-Star game.
Okay, so they just have a home run derby and then they did just cut the game
No,
off?
I'm not saying they should get rid of it. I'm just saying, like the games, the actual games. Should they get
No,
rid of
because
those?
I mean, I'm interested in tonight's game. I personally am, and I'm interested in. I always love the basketball All-Star games because they're so fun to watch because there's no defense. But as far as football goes, yeah, the Pro Bowl sucks. But I think as far as baseball and basketball goes, I still like them, and I still think they bring a lot of revenue into the game.
I still think. I mean, I don't think they should get rid of them at all, but, like, obviously players don't want to get hurt in an all-star game, so they don't try as
And then
hard
it comes to a
stuff.
point where it's like, okay, you set the all-star lineup, and then half the guys just don't play because they don't want to get hurt or because they have little injuries and they just don't want to, deal with it. And next thing you know, you got, like, more guys coming in that really shouldn't be in there. And just, like, the NFL, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, the NFL's stupid when it comes to Pro Bowl.
I mean, it's like, there's, like, 60% of the
Dalton
roster's replacements.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I guess
But
you
it's
really
still, like-
can't get rid of it because it does help, determine, like Hall of Fame status. But you can't get rid of it. But it's just they're not as exciting as they once were. Especially when baseball they got rid of the World Series, home field advantage. I like that because there was something on
I
the
would've
line to
keep
play
that.
for.
Yeah, I think they should have that in all.
And I
all
think-
three.
And I think they should keep it and they should do it in the NBA and they should probably do it. They could do it in the NFL, but they would have to move the Pro Bowl up, I think.
Yeah. But that's it for question and answer. We got Spencer in the studio, big Cavs and Indians fan and Browns fan. After the loss of LeBron, we haven't really had a big Cavs guy in the studio to talk. How you feeling now that LeBron's gone?
I mean, I'm butthurt about it. Pissed that he left, but still, I kind of understand where he's coming from. But so the question is, what do the Cavs do now without LeBron?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of hard to tell what to expect. I'm hoping Jetty Osman can develop into a potential superstar. Exactly. I'm excited about Colin Sexton, but I mean, it's kind of hard to tell now. I say, see where this season takes you. If you can, obviously the East isn't that strong. If they could compete for a lower end playoff spot, if not, then just start the rebuilding process with draft picks.
So what does this 2018 starting lineup look like?
Colin Sexton, Jetty, Rodney Hood, Tristan Thompson, and Kevin Love.
So that's not a bad lineup, especially for the East.
Especially for the East, I feel like I have no clue how good Colin Sexton's going to be.
And then you brought
in the
Channing
NBA,
Frye
but
back.
Still,
Channing Frye's a good
I could
locker
see them
room guy.
maybe competing for a lower end playoff spot.
Yeah, I think
7
this
or 8
team could
seed.
easily make the playoffs. But who's going to take? You talked about leadership. Who's going to be, the leader of this team? Is this Kevin Love?
Hopefully Kevin Love steps up, becomes leader.
I think it's Channing
Hopefully, I mean Channing Frye will probably be like the locker room guy, but on the court he's not going to be like one of the best players, obviously.
Oh wow.
Oh, so you're talking best player? Is
I'm
this
just
about
saying,
the question?
leader.
I thought we were talking about leadership.
Yeah,
Like,
leadership.
Channing Frye's been around the block. I think he's a leader.
Yeah, he's going to be like
A
the
lot of these
veteran.
guys have been around.
But if you
Something
want the
like
question to be best player, then I'll give you the best player.
Okay, but I'm saying like leader, like overall leader, playing wise.
Does Kevin Love
everything.
become
Hopefully Kevin Love becomes that guy.
What he
that
was
is the best player
in
on the
Minnesota?
court, leads by example. I don't think he'll ever be what he was in Minnesota, but hopefully he'll be the best player on the court. Good locker room guy. Channing Frye obviously be a good locker room guy, good veteran influence.
It pisses me off because
Hopefully-
Channing Frye's a hell of a guy.
Hopefully, yeah, I love Channing Frye. I'm glad he's back, and I want him to sign Richard Jefferson too.
I don't think they're going to do that, but
And hopefully Jetty will step up and become
it was kind of cool to
big-time
see,
NBA player.
him in the summer league games.
Yeah.
Kind of being the leader. But we'll see what happens once season starts. Hopefully it won't be as bad as it was the first time LeBron left,
No.
because that was just
Yeah.
that was bad.
We have some more pieces.
If you just want to have fun, go to like one of the years LeBron wasn't there and just look at that starting lineup and just like look where those guys are now. It's kind of like Carmelo Anthony's teams in New York. It's just a mess.
But if Carmelo Anthony's a superstar, then like LeBron in 2007, LeBron's a superstar, led a team of nobody to the final. If
But the league's different though than 2007. I mean, you need superstars
right, but
to win.
he's never done.
But did
that
he win in
his career.
2007 either?
No, has Carmelo Anthony
He had to go. He had to
ever
go
made an
with.
NBA Finals?
He had to go with two other superstars to win.
Right, but has Carmelo Anthony ever
besides
made an NBA
Russell
Finals?
West, besides
Well, can you answer
Oklahoma
this
here.
question? Has Carmelo Anthony ever made an NBA Finals?
Has LeBron ever won a finals?
It's a yes or no question. Has Carmelo Anthony ever made an NBA
No,
Finals?
but has LeBron ever won an NBA Finals without 2 All-Stars?
Okay, no.
Okay.
Did Carmelo Anthony
now we're
even
talking,
make the NBA Finals with 2 All-Stars? No.
Carmelo Anthony's never had 2 All-Stars.
Paul George, Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook's a cancer.
What do you mean
we've already
beside? Okay, he still won the MVP the year before.
Okay, Spencer's an idiot. We all know that. But what now? You play baseball, big baseball guy. You actually work for the Cleveland Indians, right?
Right.
What do you think? This team's, they've been pretty good. They've been kind of underperforming this year. They can be a lot better than what they are. And this is a team that's going to be buyers at the deadline. Who do you think what kind of moves do you think they make? Where do they go from here?
Obviously, it's no secret that the bullpen's been their biggest issue all year. So I'd like to see them get at least one, if not more, bullpen pieces to come in. And
does Mejia get moved?
I'm not opposed to it. I'm
not opposed to that either.
But we just need. Hopefully Miller will get back and be healthy. We get at least one more piece in the bullpen. I still believe in Cody Allen. Think he can be a good closer.
There's some guys I think in this bullpen. Oliver Perez.
Yeah.
Neil Ramirez.
I really like Neil Ramirez. I think he's. Those are two guys that are just like matchup guys, not like a guy that's gonna come in and throw a complete inning and.
So what do you think happens in the second half for the Indians?
I think they're not in a tough division, so it's expecting them to make the playoffs, but I think they're gonna start pick it up. I think they have one of the top four in the lineups, one of the best in baseball with Jose, Lindor. Edwin's having an underappreciated season. He's got 22 or 23 homers and fourth in the AL in RBIs.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there with the Indians. Do you think this is a World Series contending team?
I would like to believe that, yes. I think they can add some pieces to help solidify that, but yes.
So that's it for Spencer's interview. That's it for the show today. Got a little heated there in the middle, but when you're dealing with two idiots like Spencer and Truman, it gets that way. We want to thank you to our sponsors, D's Home Cuts and A's Lawn Service. We ask that you go onto iTunes, give us 5 stars, rate, review us, and subscribe. You can follow us on Twitter or Instagram at TNT Sports Talk 12. You can listen to us on 12 Ounce tomorrow from 12 to 1, or you can find us now on YouTube. We want to thank you to Spencer for coming in today.
Thanks for having me again.
I'd say he did better than his first time, Truman. Would you say?
Yeah, definitely.
Picked it up a little bit. A little dumb, but he's all right. We want to thank you. Have a great day. Tune in on Thursday. We're going to have Dom.
Yeah, possibly.
Possibly, I guess. We're not sure yet. But tune in on Thursday. Have a great day. And, we'll see you then.
Thank you. Go Packers.